Hi there. I went to the theater yesterday evening. I went to the Gala Theater in Columbia Heights. It's a historically Hispanic theater. The whole production was in Spanish, and I'm working on my Spanish. I'm taking it more seriously than I did in high school. It's getting better. I caught like 40% of it, but it had subtitles. The production was Kiss of the Spider Woman, which had been a musical with Vanessa Williams. I never saw it. Now it's going to be a musical with Jennifer Lopez. I saw Jennifer Lopez perform a couple of the numbers from it at World Pride. It was awesome. I've been interested in it and saw the production up the street. I boot scoot and boogied right to it. It was good. I wanted to tell y'all because it felt relevant both to my work in the federal government and nonprofits and NGOs, as well as my Ashtanga yoga community, which is a wonderful for insight practice and spirituality. The whole story was really one about the power of deception, honesty, and what we'll do to the people we love and for the people we love, but also to protect ourselves. Spoiler warning, I'm going to ruin. Here's how it goes. There are two guys, Melina, who's the gay, wearing the caftan, maybe not gay, maybe trans, but definitely the storyteller. And you have Valentine, this revolutionary, very brusque, super hot. It's intimate because it's a two-person show on a very like black boxy stage where there's just like a bed in the center. It's tender. They're sharing food. They're talking about their dreams, their love. Valentine first like comes off as like really violent and yelly, is really just like a guy who cares a lot and is unregulated. And of course, Molina's so fucked up that he thinks that this is what a man should be. And so he's super into it. I just like loved all the dynamics. Underneath, Molina, who has been super good to Valentine, turns out to be an informant for the jailer. Jailer's trying to get information about Valentine's comrades. And so Molina is put into the position to befriend him to get the dirt. This is where it gets juicy. Betrayal. Molina wants to see his sick mom and is falling in love with Valentine. And so now, instead of trying to get the dirt on him, he's trying to not let the jailer know what's going on. But like, I think what was so awful is that, like, man, in this one scene, Valentine even shits himself and Melina cleans it up. And he shares all of his food. It's really quite something when at the very end, Valentine gives the numbers for the comrades to Melina. And you don't really know how it all plays out, but you see Melina dies. Valentine is tortured to death. The kiss goodbye, it was hot. Melina died, shot by jailers after contacting comrades. You don't know if he contacted comrades to give information or if he was contacting the comrades because he also gave information to jailers. It all just sucks. I can't help but take a moment and appreciate the bitterness, the sorrow that I feel inside of my own yoga community because people are sharing their struggles and their vulnerabilities. Community leaders, maybe now do, propped up deception, kind caretakers serving the jailer. Those advisors still out there. That's the most charitable read. On the flip side, it's like really abusive. But these advisors present themselves as guides and they will like say that I'm going to do what's best for you. They're doing what's best for anybody except themselves. Because sometimes, like Melina, the care that they're showing, it hides another agenda. Them protecting themselves, gaining influence, and negotiating with power. Betrayal wrapped in tenderness poisons everything because there's no honesty. I am worried about one big scandal taking down Trump. I don't think I'm worried about one big scandal taking down Ashtanga yoga. I'm not worried about one big scandal taking down the government. I'm worried about the hundreds and hundreds of small betrayals from well-meaning people who are really rather mediocre, where the whispers are tolerated because they're not used to protect the vulnerable. They're They're used to protect the powerful. Secrets become rationalized, and there's a don't rock the boat logic. Smiling faces in a yoga shala while reporting to the jailer behind the scenes is gross. I knew people were garbage, and I didn't know firsthand, and so all I did was repeat the stories that I told exactly as I knew them. The community corrodes from the inside out if the people who really do have positions of power, who know the same gossip as me, aren't doing things about it with their leverage. It's weak. And when you look at what's being leveraged and why, for what benefit? I live in Washington, D.C., and D.C. is the heart of political power in at least America. I watch how decisions ripple out from here and feel good about my work because I feel that I am doing something quite powerful for the world by sharing these practices. I live in a city where authoritarian impulses aren't abstract. They're real motivations. I'm sure, I mean, this microphone is good and all, but I'm sure you can hear the horns. I have a hard time having a conversation without hearing a protest, and I'm not complaining, maybe a little. It's tough, but I'm saying how important regulation techniques are. And so in an area of authoritarianism, the form of community that masks hidden deals, betrayals, and backchannel negotiations is not a community looking out for vulnerable people or the populists. That same dynamic plays out in spiritual communities. Leaders speaking the language of care while cutting deals. Because I teach yoga, I can't ignore the overlap. Secrecy is the currency of authoritarianism. Honesty is the only counterpower. When I see media and art talking about betrayal and how human it is, and I see how actors pull the emotion out of themselves and me, even though I only pick up 40% because of the language, I understand how important this is. Melina's death shows once betrayal enters, innocence is gone. Stricter rules, more discipline, louder chanting, more opaque policies. These are controlling other people and don't restore trust when you try to control people. The safeguard is radical honesty. If a Sangha can't tolerate that truth, it's not a spiritual practice space. It's halfway to a cult. The prison cell with mantras. And I will quote Kissinger. The politics are so vicious because the stakes are so low. The community's spiritual health and the good name of the caretakers who aren't narking out to the jailers is important work.